Anybody who is still subscribed to me, thank you very much. I've had no CB sort of stuff to talk about or to show. Where I live, it's pretty dead at the moment. There's a couple of guys on there, an old fella, and then his buddy who lives on a farm. Mr. 2121, Mr. Adrian, he's taking full advantage of his 2E0. Congratulations for that, Adrian. He passed another amateur licence, so he's elsewhere doing other things most of the time, so he doesn't come on the CB that often, so good for him. I hope he's having some fun because he's well into it all. I'm not on there very often. I turn the radio on, but very rarely do I hear anybody anymore, so it looks like it might be the end of CB as I know it, because more and more I go in my man cave where all my stuff's situated and turn it on and very rarely hear anybody. So it's died a death. My aerial's still up and I've still got some equipment, but that's declined. So I thought I'd put this motorcycle video on in the background. It didn't go totally as planned. Basically what happened was I came across on Marketplace, on the Facebook Marketplace, a type of GoPro camera. And I have owned quite expensive ones in the past, and I never put them to much use for what they cost, and they sat in a drawer. So anyway, it was only £10 for this camera, and I'm really impressed with the results that you can see here. I'm out on my motorbike, out for a nice Sunday afternoon ride. Lovely day, and no more excuses needed than to get out on my old fazer600. I'll talk about that more in a moment, but so the CB side of life is about dead. When I'm totally fed up, then I'll take the aerial. I won't get rid of it, but I'll take the aerial down and sort of call it a day. I may try and go for my M6 licence in the future if I can get the bug back and the interest. But for the moment, I ain't really got an interest in sitting there just talking to people about nothing. So yeah. So maybe one day I'll get the bug back and I'll go the odd and get the M6 licence and get some nice equipment that I can flick around and all that. But getting back to the old bike here, my plan didn't quite work. I bought the camera and a bag full of accessories for the low sum of £10, so I was very happy. Got 2 batteries with it, charged them up, and this is the first time in anger that I used it as such, the camera. And I ordered a small, I think they call them a dictaphone, or a small recording device, because the camera hasn't got a socket on it. No socket for a microphone. So I thought, I'll borrow those little cheap recorders, which I did do, 20 quid off Amazon. Records up to 12 hours. 3 different recording formats, WAV, MP3 and something else, 3 different codecs that you can record in. So I went out on the bike, I had the recorder in my pocket, pressed record, and unfortunately the microphone, what was in my helmet, was just picking wind noise. Now it could have been my mistake, and I could have left a little flap open on my helmet by where your chin is. When I was stationary, you could hear me and my bike perfect, but unfortunately when I was going along, all you heard was wind and a little mumbly voice in the background. But it was the first time, and it's my fault because I should have pre-tested it all before I actually come to do it. So never mind. Next time I'll go out on my bike 2 or 3 times before I get the mic set up correct for anybody who's interested. But like I say, I've not done a video for a while, so I thought I'd best put one up, let people know I'm still alive. I've been through a couple of health scares, and what remaining teeth I had in my head, I actually had taken out last month on the 19th. I had a wobbly tooth and I had a receding gum at the bottom. So basically I've got no teeth, none at all, and I was sort of mentally, I've been to hell and back because I had a cancer scare recently. Went to the doctors only to have my blood pressure took, and for whatever reason that he never gave me, said, oh, you'll be receiving a letter from the hospital very shortly. Have you got a cough? I went, no, I've got no cough, not more than anybody else. And he says, oh, I want you to go to this hospital to have your lungs x-rayed, which I still haven't. And then you'll be getting a letter from the Coventry Hospital. I was a bit confused by that, so I'll get you an appointment at the Coventry Hospital. Oh, okay. Anyway, about I don't know, 6 days later, I got this. It said on the paper, rapid appointment. You have this is to notify you we have made you a rapid appointment at the University Hospital of Coventry for the Head and Neck Cancer Department. So I about, excuse the French here, but I about shit myself, and I thought, well, seeing as I've got no problem swallowing, I'd lost, basically, I think, well, this is my theory, I had an ulcer on the inside of my lip, and it was the biggest mouth ulcer I've ever had in my life, and according to what I've read on the internet, one of my tablets is very likely to give a side effect of mouth ulcers. So anyway, I had this big mouth ulcer about the size of a halfpence piece. It's the biggest one I've ever had in my life. It just coincided that it was on level with my wobbly tooth, so it may have something to do with that. May not be nothing to do with the tablet, but either way, I didn't eat very well for about 10 days. It was a real painful thing it was. Even to touch it with my tongue, it absolutely killed me. So I didn't hardly eat any food for about 10 days, and I lost, over a period of a couple of weeks, I lost about 1.5 stone in weight. So basically I think that's what triggered the doctor to thinking, oh, you know, let's send him here. So after being bullied with my family and in my mind thinking I must be dying, the doctor sent me to, you know, a cancer place, and I've lost a lot of weight and blah blah blah. I started going a bit doolally nuts in the head and going on highs and lows, and my family bullying me, saying, oh, you should go, my daughter and my son, oh, you should go down the hospital, Dad, and get checked out. So anyway, long and the short of the story is, in the end I went to the hospital. The letter said to expect him to put a camera down my nose to my voice box. So when I got to the hospital, this guy who's got like letters in front of his name, a specialist cancer guy, I sat in the chair and he said basically, hello, my name's so and so, what can I do for you today? And I says, I haven't got a clue, mate, you tell me. Oh, who sent you here? Doctor or dentist? I said, doctor. I said, I've got no problem swallowing. I said, I've got a little red lump under my tongue, which the doctor hasn't even seen. So he got me in his chair, got his little swab, moved my tongue aside, looked all in my mouth, shined the torch down my throat and said, discharge, and that was it. Since then, I had my various teeth taken out of the dentist. It wasn't a pleasant experience. We took me tablets from my blood and tablets. One stopped bleeding for about 3.5 hours. I actually did go back to the dentist to see if he could stitch the hole up. But yeah, so for the last, since the 19th of April, all I can really eat, what's the date today? It's about the 15th today of May. My birthday is 5 days. I've been grand old age of 55, but since the 19th of April, nearly a month, the only thing I've been able to eat is things like mashed potato, soup and very soft stuff. And when I close my mouth, I can't get my gums to touch, so there's a big gap in my gums when I close my mouth as best I can. So I'm limited to what I can eat. Today I've been to the chemist and got some of these drinks called 40 Sip. I've got 6 litres, 30 bottles, and it's supposed to be high in protein and all the nutrients and vitamins that your body needs. So between meals, between me eating mashed potato and scrambled egg and things like that, I'm going to start drinking these drinks to try and put some weight back on. I've got to go back to the dentist on June the 13th, a few weeks, another 4 weeks, have my impressions, and then hopefully a couple of weeks after that have some false teeth. Yeah, the perils of getting older. I've got all my hair, not got any bald patches or anything like that, but I've always had sort of terrible teeth. Till I was about 35, I had fairly good teeth till I was about 35, and then they started going loose, and not necessarily bad, but more loose. So anyway, that's that one. So I'm looking forward to getting some teeth, and then when I go past the chip shop and get the aromas of fish and chips, hopefully, if I get half decent teeth that fit in that, I'll be able to eat something. I'm looking forward to eating a steak and kidney pie, but amazing what it takes to get to the life, isn't it? And one day you can only eat soup and mashed potato and ice cream and things like that. So anyway, back to this bike. This is the bike that I would never have bought, not because it's a rubbish bike, but in the past I've been very fortunate to have had a bit of cash, and I've had loads of motorbikes, Fireblades, Hayabusas, ZX10s. I could go on all day listing bikes that I've owned in the last 15 years. And sadly, a couple of years ago I had my heart attack, a convalescing for 6 or 7 months, so I didn't work. My sick pay that I got, £72 a week, got stopped after a month, and they decided I was fit for work. So I got a part-time job, but obviously my financial situation went down the pan, so the motorbike I had at the time, what was worth a few bob, unfortunately I had to sell to try and, you know, the bills never stop coming through your letterbox, as it were. So, by the way, this where I am now is Widybrook. This little road here, I know it like the back of my hand. I've been down it thousands of times, and it's probably the slowest I've ever been down, because at the time I was busy talking to the microphone. So it's the steadiest, slowest ride I've ever had in my life, but nevertheless, I'll call it a switchback, so I don't know what the actual road is called. It's between Widybrook and Shilton in Warwickshire. Where did I get to in my story? Oh, this motorbike, yes. Basically, my son bought this bike, and it had been standing in a lady's garage for 4 or 5 years, unused. And he spent, well, what seemed at the time like a small fortune on it. New tyres, new chain, new sprockets, new coil packs, new fuel pump, new dark screen, new headlights, blah blah blah. The story goes on. And then when his financial situation got better, then I had no bike at all. I did have a moped. I bought a moped that my daughter paid for, and to be fair, it was a bit of a come down from riding a 1000cc motorbike to a 30-mile-an-hour moped. But so I had that for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, and I sold that and I got a 125, and that was a right bag of spanners. That was more a death trap, that thing was. And then my son asked me if I wanted to buy this, and I got it on sort of instalments, which was pretty kind of him, because he's no millionaire. So after all the money that he spent on the bike and paying for the bike originally, well, I don't know, it owed him about £1,400, I guess. So then I bought it off him. So I decided, for some mad reason, that I'm going to what's called street fighter it, turn it into a naked bike. Take the fairing off at the front, what you can see, where my hand is at the moment. And I've bought a pair of brand new like black twin headlights. And brackets for those that I'm going to fit onto it. I'm going to be very careful how I take the fairing off, the top nose fairing. I'll do it, you know, non-destructively, so that I can put it all back on if need be. So I'll do it in a certain way. I'll take it all off in a certain way that I can put it back to its original status. 21 years old. 21 years old, that bike, and it's done 23,000 miles. So that's the thing. Well, with the forecast rain this Saturday. It's Wednesday today. Excuse me. So I thought I could probably do that Saturday. So I've ordered some heat shrink for the cables that I'm going to have to split and solder back together. I'll do a diagram of how the wires were before I cut them or disconnect them, and stick the new lights on. And I've got plenty of little projects to do to the bike. Got to revamp the front forks on it and rub those down, because they look like they're pitted, but they're not. It's actually underneath the lacquer. It's the aluminium is started slightly perishing. There's little dots everywhere. Doesn't look very good. So I'm going to rub those down and polish the forks. I want to get the mud guard off and spray that, because the paint's getting a bit lackluster. I think that's about it. Oh, I'm going to do the wheels. I'm going to polish the wheels, take half the paint off the wheel rims and polish them. And then it will sort of transform the looks of the bike, and it's just a matter of personal opinion whether, you know, it's going to look better or worse when I take the fairing off, that is. But that's just a personal opinion. Everybody has their own views, don't they? So anyway, I'm just coming to the end of this road. I've gassed on a bit, quite a lot actually, 17 minutes according to the timer here. So take care everybody. I hope you're all well and enjoying the summer, and I hope it turns out to be a fairly good one this year. Thanks for watching. Leave any comments, always welcome, and I'll be making a video soon when I've degraded in some people's eyes the motorbike by not keeping it original. But I'll do another video on that, and hopefully next time I'll be able to talk while I'm riding, as opposed to the way it is at the moment, having to narrate my voice across the video. But you take care all. Thanks for watching, and as I say, thumbs up, thumbs down, any comments welcome. Take care everybody. Thank you.